Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to highlight the markings on any sort of firearm for literally pennies. So I know it's a bit controversial on whether or not, people think you should highlight the markings on your receivers. I get the argument, against it. You want to keep your gun maybe just, stock factory, the way it came. Maybe if you were just a K98K collector, hey, the Germans didn't highlight them, so why would you? However, I kind of think, especially in the way that I display my guns, if I highlight the receiver markings on a gun, it really stands out at a distance, and it helps you, be able to just, identify the maker markings on them. Also, with me making these videos, if I highlight the markings that are on a receiver, it really helps those markings stand out for you on camera, so it makes it easier for you guys to see it. So typically I would say that this is really good for if you're going to be recording the gun, or if you're going to have it displayed and you want those markings to really just, pop. So there's a lot of different ways that you can actually, highlight the receivers. You can use like a nail polish. Some people just get like a plain white nail polish and they just sort of fill in, all the markings and let it dry. And, then you have it, and then any excess you can kind of clean up with like an acetone or something. I don't like doing that because I tried that one time on a gun that I didn't care about, and it seemed like on the section of where it was, where the fingernail paint got on it, and then where I cleaned it off, it had a slight discoloration. So I wouldn't really go for that personally. Now they, places like Brownells, they sell like little lacquer pins and stuff that's meant for filling in the the engravings and stuff. And that's cool too. That probably works really well. Now a less permanent approach and a much cheaper approach. It's going to sound pretty ridiculous, but I just use dollar store chalk. This box of chalk was $1, and I've highlighted a bunch of the receivers on all of my guns, and I've used up basically nothing. I've used maybe 5 cents worth of chalk on all of my guns that I've highlighted so far, and I really like the way it turns out. The really good thing about chalk is, if for whatever reason, maybe you're selling the gun or something and you want to erase the markings, it's super easy to erase the markings. You could take an old toothbrush or something and just, clean it out with maybe some water or oil and get rid of the chalk. So it's pretty easily, removed. It still looks really good. It's a really nice bright white that pops out and stands out. So I'm a pretty big fan of the chalk method myself. But I know there's probably some others that I didn't mention that you guys, I'm sure, will tell me about in the comments. Now let's get in and do some close-ups, and I'm going to show you how I use the chalk to fill in the receiver markings. Now you don't even need a really big piece of chalk to do this, just a really tiny piece. You use hardly any of it. This is a Venezuelan crest. This is an FN 1930 carbine. I think that this crest is so beautiful, I think it'll really stand out with this. So to start out, you just basically want to fill in the holes. So all you kind of do is just move this around. You can kind of rub this around just sort of in a circular pattern, just because you're filling in just all the markings as you go. Obviously this is a lot easier the smaller or the more simple the area, but you just kind of want to fill in all the markings here. There you go. So I know this looks really bad right now. So then you just need a reasonably clean finger, and you just can kind of wipe this away, and it wipes off all of the excess chalk. And it just leaves the markings behind here, just nice and highlighted. Using a rag doesn't really turn out the best always, because sometimes the little fibers on the rag can kind of drag in there and take out a lot of the markings. But in my experience, just using your fingers works the best. You do kind of get chalk all over the place, obviously, whenever you do this. But there we go. I mean, it's mostly done just that quick. Just need to wipe it off a little bit more. Obviously, I'm probably going to fill in all the markings on the side here, but that's pretty much it. Just a little bit of cleanup to do, and it's already done. So appreciate you guys watching. I really do highly recommend you doing this to your firearms. You know, it doesn't hurt them. It just really makes, you know, the lettering and the markings on the receivers really pop. You know, especially with these really beautiful South American crests. It really just, you know, makes them stand out. And, you know, I'm a pretty big fan of doing this. And, you know, it's super cheap, really easy. You know, it doesn't hurt the gun or anything. So, you know, why not?